Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready for our first conversation on mental health, and I'm not alone in studio. I want the gentleman I'm with to say hello. Please, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
How is your Monday morning?
Monday morning is good.
Umenyeshewa? Umetoka before mvua kidogo?
Nilikuwa na umbrella.
Yeah, you had an umbrella.
Yes,
Thank you. That is also another thing. You know, like these are the times, those are the small precautions that we are talking about, because this is exactly the time to get an umbrella. If you have not, this is your chance. Anyway, please say hi to our audience on that camera. Tuambie wewe ni nani, and then we will jump right in.
Hello, good morning. This is Berian Seda, a student from Kenyatta University.
Yeah.
I'm a trained mentor from Strathmore University, and I'm pursuing B.Ed Arts, Math Business, Kenyatta University.
Yes, sir. I like that. Before tuanza menambia ni mwalimu wa math. We may not be able. We are not going to be pointing fingers at walimu wa math, but we are doing well. Yeah. But thank you for joining us first and foremost. We are here to talk all matters mental health, and I think today is very primary in understanding what is mental health, what encompasses mental health. So I want us to start from the very beginning. Just what is the definition of mental health?
Before we define mental health, we see that we have three words there. We're having mental health, and when we look at mental awareness, we have three words:
mental health awareness
and awareness.
Yes.
And when we look at mental relates with mind. It's something that goes around mind.
Yes.
Then health, it means that you are physically, emotionally, or psychologically fit. You are physically, emotionally well-being. You are good.
Yes.
Then when we look at mental health awareness, now we say that you are well informed about your mental health. Yeah.
You are aware. Like I think these words are deriving from each other, that you are aware of your mental state.
Yeah.
Yes, or mental health, or wherever you are at mentally. All right. So then, what is the definition of mental health?
Mental health is a state where you are physically, emotionally, and even psychologically well-being. Yeah, you are fit.
Yes.
In all those dimensions.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's mental, physical, and psychologically.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope that you guys are learning. Today is very primary on definitions for us to understand, because we come here, we throw jargon sometimes, and you're like, what did she say? What did she mean? So today is very primary. So I hope that you're taking notes or you're listening in keenly to be able to understand and learn these things. Now that we have defined mental health, types of mental health.
We have many different types of mental health. We have defined it. We have you've talked about mental health.
Yes.
Different types of mental health.
Yes. Like we have said, physical, mental, and psychological.
Yeah, those are now the types of types of health.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Types of health. So there are types of health that you need to consider within mental health. It's both, even physical is there.
Yeah.
I think we've given a lot of credit, or a lot of advancement has been done in terms of physical health.
Physical health.
So we are talking psychological health and mental health in our discussion today. And then let's go into the unhealthy bit. What is mental illness?
Mental illness are just like disorders.
Yes.
You are not fit. Maybe you have some mind disturbances. You are not fit. You are not stable in mind. So you are mentally ill.
Yes.
You are sick mentally. Yeah.
So just like physical illness, I like to compare those, because then it gives a clear understanding. So just like physically fit, then you may not be physically fit. Okay. So we are comparing that so that you can be able to understand exactly what we are talking about. Into another big spectrum question. What are causes? I know there are many, but just in your capacity, what are some causes of mental illness?
Okay, one of the causes of mental illness, we have drug abuse. Like in our campuses, youths do abuse drugs, and it's one of the causes of mental illness. We have stress. Heartbreaks are there.
They are still in that bracket as well.
They can also cause mental illness.
Yes.
And maybe trauma, what you passed through a scenario, it can lead to mental illness.
So stress, drug abuse, trauma even. Does trauma have to be childhood trauma, or even, grown-ups can still have episodes and experiences of trauma?
It can catch you in any stage. Maybe you passed through an accident, or a situation that imekataa kutoka kwa akili. It keeps on tormenting you or disturbing you.
Yeah,
it's a trauma.
Yes. So it does not necessarily have to be it came from your childhood. It could happen at any stage of mind. You've spoken about drug abuse,
and
we are
abuse.
here and we are talking to young people, to youth, and drug abuse. I want to ask, where are we misstepping? Like, where do you think we are getting it wrong? Matters drug abuse, especially among young people, because it's not like we have not been told to stop abusing drugs. Drugs are bad. Like, where are we missing this step?
When we talk about drug abuse, I think everyone knows the drugs, and we are well informed about it. And some of us, we are abusing these drugs because of some reasons, and we all know what we can do to avoid them. Like maybe looking at the friends, people who are around you. You should check at unasociate na mtu gani, mtu aina gani. That one can help you to stay away from drugs.
Another thing that could help us, because I feel like drug abuse is has become such a huge menace in matters of mental health, because it's not just mental, now it goes to physical, now we are, it unwraps into a lot of other things that could be avoided. So since you're here and you're a young person, I'd like you to talk to young people at home when you wanna watch, just around drug abuse. What would you tell them?
What I can tell them is that drug abuse is bad, and we can do many things to stay away from abusing drugs. And it starts by yourself. You should check at your friend and the people you are relating to. You should ensure that they are not bad people who can lure you to abuse drugs. And if you find out that there's a friend who is abusing those drugs, there are things that you can do, not judging them or staying away from them, but we can help them to come out from that cocoon of abusing those drugs. There are many things we can do.
So among that is what I want us to get to. What are some of these things that can be done? I know we have mentioned avoiding company. Of course, if you're in the company of people who are taking drugs, you're definitely most likely going to end up there. But what are some of these other things? Like, we are doing groundwork here. So what are some other things that actually they can do to avoid drug abuse?
Like in campus here, I think school has played a major role in dealing with these drugs. The first thing is creating the social welfares. We have clubs and societies where youths do participate, and this keeps them busy from going to places where that they can start abusing these drugs. And at the same time, we have people who are supporting the students in school, teaching them, creating awareness between them, and this helps them to know the side effects of these drugs and how they can be avoided. So if you are in a campus or right here in Kenyatta University, like I always say, you're one of the lucky ones, because you have avenues out there that can be able to help you, to cope or to manage or to prevent drug abuse. What about people that are outside of campus? The young people wako mtaani, wako huko nje. What can be done? What can practically, what I'm trying to get at is practical things, because like we have said, we all know that drug abuse is bad, but it's still happening. That does not prevent it from happening. So wase wako huko mtaani, they are probably not part of the campus. What can they do to avoid drug abuse? Drug abuse, we can talk about alcohol. If you are abusing alcohol, maybe you can reduce the amount of alcohol you are drinking in a day. To say, if you are drinking maybe 4 bottles, you can reduce the amount to maybe 1 bottle in a day, because doing away with it is somehow difficult. But in terms of cigarette, you can totally avoid it. Then if you're a youth, we have talents. You can spend a lot of time doing what you like, starting your day. These drugs are they're like distractors. You can plan your day, how you're going to start your day to avoid being distracted by such things. But staying away from friends who are doing these things and looking for support is very important because they are going to affect you thoroughly.
You mentioned something about reducing the amount, and I gather this is what happens a lot in rehabilitation centers. Like when you go to rehab, it's not just stop this thing that you have been doing. It's actually a process of reduction until finally you are not in need of it. So people who are out there, I know, hata kama you are not in a campus, their rehabilitation centers are countrywide. Like you can be able to get yourself into one of those and actually be able to help yourself. Let's move on a bit. What are some signs and symptoms of mental illnesses?
A mental ill person, it's very easy to determine that someone is mentally ill. First, you will realize that if he or she was a person who socializes with people, he or she will start staying alone, loneliness. He or she will stop socializing with people. And the other thing is that you will find that grooming, the person starts not very clean, very dirty, and she will start being careless. If she was performing well in class, there's reduced performance. The same time, you find that he or she does not concentrate in class or stops. We know there are some matters that when something happens, you can overreact or underreact, and you'll find that the person is behaving opposite apparently to maybe she was supposed to overreact. You find that she's underreacting.
Or in a small situation that did not need an overreaction, now it becomes yes, I want us to break this down a little bit, because I feel signs and symptoms of mental health is quite the spectrum. Is it dependent on the mental health illness that one is suffering?
Sorry.
Is it dependent? We are talking about signs and symptoms of mental illness in general. But my question is, are these signs and symptoms dependent on the specific mental health illness? Like take us through, give us an example. Like, let's delve into the practicality of it.
Like, let's say that somebody was abusing, we can talk about marijuana.
Yes.
Or I don't know, there's a local name they used to call it. Like in our home they call it ndovu. Somebody who's abusing ndovu, you'll find that is very dirty. They are not clean. If she or he was a clean person, he start being careless and the energy. Some of them are abusing these drugs to get enough energy to do things. They are energetic by that time. And if he or she was a person who does not talk so much, he starts talking so much. Or it depends. As the person was eating less amount of food, he or she start eating so much. Or it brings different effects in people. Wengine wanaanza kuongea sana, wengine wanaanza kula sana. It depends.
So it really is dependent with the kind of mental illness, or even the kind of drug that is being abused in here. So then, if you are around, like if you realize someone around, a cousin, a brother, a friend, you realize, okay, they seem like they are not doing all right. They are mentally not stable rather, or not okay. What can people be able to do? The people around the affected people, what are some of the ways that they can be able to help?
We can help these people in different ways. The first thing, like I said, in school here, we have clubs and societies. This can help them to participate. They spend some time in these societies. This will keep them busy from the distractors. And we can also provide emotional support. We have the support groups, like in Kenyatta University we are having student affairs and the directorate of students. They do help students on such matters. And if they are talented in some areas, we can support them, like the musicians. These people are talented to keep them busy. And we should not judge them, by the way. We should carry them, and we should not force them to speak out their mind. If they can share, let them share. If they cannot share, don't force them to share.
So you'll be giving them some time.
Yeah.
So then now let's talk to the affected person, the person who is not mentally stable or is struggling mentally. What are some of the ways that we can help them come out of, that state?
Or somebody who has not abused the drugs, but
no, someone that is having a mental illness. So we have talked about the community around them and how they can be able to help.
Yeah.
We are talking to the person who is feeling, okay, maybe I'm a bit too stressed lately, or hey, maybe I am not feeling okay. My overreactions lately have been overboard over any slight thing. Like this person that is directly affected, that is mentally ill, how can they be able to come out of the situation, or how can they be able to work themselves out of the situation?
I think once a time I was in that situation. So what I used to do in the morning when I wake up, I take maybe a cup of coffee. If you can't take a coffee, you can take a green tea. Then you set your routine. When I wake up in the morning, I will be able to do this and this. These are the things that I'm going to do. Then after that, I'll be able to determine what I've achieved in a day. Then you ensure that you surround yourself with positive information. Yeah, most of the time I like reading the Bible, and it keeps on pushing me, and maybe deal with the stress that may come. Yeah.
Okay, that is on the affected person rather. I want to talk to parents, to people that are undergoing mental illness and mental stress, and because we've had parents, especially kids from high school headed into campus, and the parents they don't know how they can be able to help their kid. They are saying, yes, this kid is struggling. We may not even understand what they are doing, because sometimes even the drug abuse is under wraps. You may not even be able to know that it's happening. But definitely as a parent, how can parents be able to come in and to actually help?
Before that, there's one big mistakes parents do make. Like if you find that your son or your daughter is abusing these drugs, you punish her. That's not the best way. We can take them to the rehabilitation centers. We can give them support through our churches. There's a person that can this child can trust. Maybe she cannot open herself to you, but there may be an aunt somewhere, or an uncle she can trust, and she'll be able to share her thoughts with her.
Does this mean there is no room for disciplining? Because given that we are from an African culture and African homes, discipline, or rather, I don't want to say beating, but disciplining is almost the first thing that we jump to. Because if this is a class 8 kid, they just cleared primary school, and you find someone smoking on some corner somewhere, beating is not going to be necessary.
I think we should be correcting them in a loving way. That's why you find that most of our pupils, all the sons and daughters, they are not able to open their hearts to us, because they know that immediately they say, or they say that they are abusing these drugs. The first thing they are going to be punished. They're going to be punished by parents. That's why you'll find that a son has been abusing these drugs in secret, and he is unable to share with the parent because there is punishment.
The notion of punishment is involved. Then let's go to teachers, because now you are a teacher or are mastering to be one. How can teachers help in matters, especially in schools? Because you'll be surprised that mental illness is, it affects even children as we go. Yes, the youth are the people that are majorly affected, but you don't just magically appear out of nowhere into a young person. You grew up from a kid, you started from a primary school somewhere, a high school somewhere, a campus somewhere. How can teachers be able to play a role in matters mental health and mental health awareness in general?
Teachers in school, the first thing we must know about teachers is that now I'm a teacher.
Yes.
I'm a parent in school. I carry the students in school like my children.
Yes.
Yeah. So the roles that a parent is going to play at home, these are some of the things I'm going to do in school here, but not all of them. Like in school, we can have, I've talked about club and societies. This will keep the students busy. Then in case there's a student who is abusing these drugs, there's a way I'm going to handle him or her in a special way that he can't suffer from stigma, maybe being abused by fellow students or pupils in school.
So those are some of the roles. I hope that teachers watching can understand that those are some of the roles that you can be able to play in the fight for mental health, and mental health awareness. I think we've come to the end. I'd like you to wrap up. I want you to talk to a young person, a young person that is watching out there, or even the older folks that are watching, because the people that are watching this show are across the age, different age groups, but just generally on mental health awareness. What is the take home? What is one thing that you learned, or that if they take that to practice, they can actually be able to you will have made a difference in someone who was watching this conversation?
Okay, to all youths or children who are watching me now, mental health is something that you can come out from, and it's very possible. The first thing, you need to surround yourself with good people, and if you are you want a support from anyone, you can look for support. Don't keep quiet. It's something that if you keep quiet about it can bring a lot of problems to you. So be open. If you are in university, we have student affairs that can help you. If you are at home, there's somebody who must be close to you. Share your ideas, thoughts, or the problems with that person. Don't keep quiet.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So don't keep quiet, I think, is the takeaway we are taking from here. Get help. Get as much help as you can from whatever corner that you can. I think that brings us to the close of our conversation on mental health this morning. I hope that you have picked a thing or two. But right about now, that has been our lounge number 1.
The saying the grand